Hey guys, Anthony 4x4 Diesel and Anthony 4x4 Touring Australia. If you're not on both channels, you're going to miss out on some of the videos. This one's going to be a bit of a mix. I was just pressing some of these hubs together. These are the Prado front hub bearing assemblies we sell. And it's probably relevant information to anyone that's replacing these bearings, pressing them together or whatever the case may be. Now firstly, we do them on our old wooden bench, so it's a bit softer when we're working with steel parts and stuff. We like a solid bench, but we don't want to damage the bearings and stuff like that. And of course the threads of the hubs, right? I just want to quickly show you one thing. There's a few tips here actually. One of them is the reason we like using nice shiny new hubs. It's in another video, it's in many other videos, and you'll see it again. And I find I've got to repeat myself a little bit because people miss it. Whatever the case may be, is it would take a lot of time to clean up all this corrosion and damage to get that surface back to as good as what a new one is, right? And the cost of splitting those hubs and cleaning it all up, it's just not worth it. And then you're still dealing with old studs that could have been stretched if people have over tightened them, and they're like 10 bucks each. The hub comes with new ones. It's just beautiful. Anyway, here we are. These have been very popular lately, so we're just pressing a bunch of these together. And one of the main things I wanted to say, and this is for people that you don't have to buy these hubs off me. You can do this if you like. We've talked about it in other videos. There's a playlist called How to Buy My Kit. So if you do want to buy parts, go and watch those videos. You'll gather all your info there. Only genuine parts, all brand new genuine hubs, all the seals. We do our own little thing with the seal and the RTV there. It does stick like, you know what, to the shovel and all that. And you may not need that. It's all explained in other videos. But the key thing here is, doesn't matter if it's a Prado or Hilux, any other Toyota or any other make or model with a sealed bearing setup like this, when you press it together, you don't want to over press and damage the bearing. So obviously we put some grease on the hub so it slides in a bit easier. It's not a massive press job to get them together. It's hard, much harder, more difficult to get them apart. Can be very difficult sometimes. But you don't want to over press it is the whole point, okay? And that's why there's a torque specification, which I want to remind you, that's what this video really is, reminding you on the Toyota Prados and stuff, for example, is 235 Newton meters. But don't take my word for it. Go check it on whatever it is on your vehicle, because whoever supplies you these, if they supply them ready to go like this, they need to be pressed together, but not over pressed. So if they haven't got lubrication on them, and they press it too hard because they are a tight press on some makes and models, and they need a lot of pressure, then it's going to pop and sort of slam that bearing a little bit. And you know, you get that a little bit, you got to avoid it as much as you can. So you got to lube it up, get it all nice and square, take your time and stop as soon as it's home. And that, see where that face there, right, where that seal, it's really important that that seal seals really well there. As soon as it makes contact and starts to fold back a little bit, you stop there. This may not be all the way home. That's what the torque specification's for. That's why it needs to be done. It's not hit it with a rattle gun. Okay, it's not hit it with a rattle gun. No, it's not. You can zip it up a little bit, but don't go over. Just putting it together, and then when you put the wheels on the ground, bang, torque it up 235 Newton meters. Hey, don't take my word for it. Like I said, go check it, but have a look at these old rusty things, man. Who would bother splitting the hubs? This part looks good. That doesn't matter, okay? What matters is this is, you can see where it's been leaking. You want to go for seconds. Look, you can see the surface rust. The seal is back here. This should be beautiful, and sometimes they are, but you just don't know when it's your vehicle if that's going to happen. So that's mechanical information, but it's also touring related because you use these vehicles for touring. Now let's go and have a look at this set of tires over here. I'm going to give you a bit of a review and something to think about, because we all know tires are like belly buttons, right? Why are they like belly buttons? Well, everybody's got a belly button and everybody's got some tires, and everyone's got a different purpose and a use and a different preference for what works well for them. So it is much like a belly button. Everyone's is different, and everybody likes a different belly button. Anyway, enough belly buttons. Firstly, I just want to point out with these tires, you can read that if you like, made in China. Okay, so the reason we tried these tires, quick tire review and give you some feedback, so it might help you make a decision on what tires you're going to use. So I suppose, again, this is mechanical and touring, because it's a mechanical side because for reliability, to advise customers and yourself, but it's a touring thing, because if you're touring, you're going to want some all-terrains, and if you're not, then we don't need to talk about tyres. The reason I tried these was, I picked them up at a good deal. I knew someone that offered a decent discount on them, and I was looking for something a bit more road orientated, because over here, look, you know, you can see we've got the BFGs on this vehicle. We've used those for decades, you know, forever. Everybody's BFGs have been around for what, 50 years. These KO pattern, this is the KO2, so new technology, things changed. I think that was about 5 years ago, so it is new technology. The wear was 100% better off-road wear. There were things that changed, but there's a lot of varying opinions on those tyres, and I have experienced myself to tell you that those tyres are not going to be as good gripping on the road, particularly in the wet, and if you're racing around asking too much of it like a sports car, than a road tyre or a tyre like this. So I was looking for a more road orientated pattern, but still something that's tough for off-road. We've had these tyres on 3 years now. They've just recently come off. I sort of can't really put up with them anymore, and when I say that, well, I didn't like the white writing on the outside. That was a mistake. It should have been on the inside. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll turn them over and show you what they look like. But these are obviously, quite, I don't have to tell you, they're the Dunlop Green Trek AT3Gs, right? Now, they're no cheaper than a BFG, KO, or anything else. They're about the $300 odd mark, whatever, give or take, depends what price you get. They're made in China, so, you know, I don't know if that's any good or not. But what I noticed, they're really prone to damage in the sidewall. Now, the first thing I noticed when I put them on the vehicle, I've got to tell you straight, the grip, the tread grip right here, this stuff, absolutely awesome on the road. From day dot to 3 years now, I can tear around in the wet like a madman, and they do not let go. They grip like crazy, okay? Definitely grip better than a KO, definitely. So this is about this is the belly button thing. This is the compromise. Okay, so really grippy. What I notice when I air down is the sidewalls, they bag out. They must be really thin because they bag out really easily. And I think I remember having a feel of those before I put them on and went, geez, there's not much there. Now, we've been using, as I said, KOs for years, and all the different tyres. We do some really rough, shaly tracks over and over again, and I don't normally see much sidewall damage. We do sometimes, so I've seen some cuts here and there, quite small, but I look at these tyres and I go, there's constantly lots, and this is just one tyre. Let's go around. There's another one there, there's another one there, there's another one there. These have not been used off-road as much. More there. That's just one tyre. We've been around one tyre, right? Okay, let's have a look at another one. Let's look at this. Here you go. Here's a nice chunk. This isn't the one that failed. The one that failed, we got rid of it, but let me get behind it and just give it a push. That's like that's like, you know, we need to let's get a screwdriver at the end of the video and stick it in the hole, and I'm having trouble sort of, hang on, let's pick it up. See if I can do this one-handed. Get in behind it. Look at that. That is nasty, isn't it? Like, so that sort of shows you the side wall it looks a few millimetres thick, but, you know, so I suppose that could have happened on any tyre. Is that what we're going to say? You know, but why is it, you know, all the way around? That one not too bad, because after that happened, it went on to the spare. I don't mind driving on it, but I'd probably have it on a rear, you know. Let's have a look at the others, just to see if it's coincidence. A little bit there. I'm not rubbing gutters. More there, more there, more there, more there. This sort of damage all the way around, okay? Now, let's get this one back on the ground out of the way. Go around here. I just want to show you. Have a look at this chunk. Look at that chunk. I don't know if you can see that. Big chunk out of it, right? So look, the big proud writing, I don't really like that. Last one, let's do an inspection on it. A little bit there, a little bit there. So there's a pattern here, right? There's a pattern, right, of these tyres getting a lot of possible damage. You know, they've been hitting the edge there, flexing around a bit type thing. Anyway, so the point is, what's the point? The point is, these tyres are okay for off-road. These have done quite a bit of off-road stuff in the high country and whatever, okay? I'm careful how I use them, because I'll look at the sidewall and I go, ooh, I get a bit nervous, right? I've been nervous on these tyres, I've got to tell you. So I've treated them really carefully. And I've been lucky, and we'll call it lucky, like, you know, lucky that this one didn't go through. That's nasty. On the BFGs, we've used them a lot more extensively off-road, and I've never seen any sort of damage, anything like any of these. I mean, these have also been in the high country. If you watch all our videos, you'll see one had a nail through it. That's what it takes. If I look around these tyres, I won't even find a mark on them, kind of thing, you know, like, They're a little bit dirty from the last trip, so hard to see. But I've already looked at those tyres. So we'll do this again later. I don't know if it's the compound or what, but those tyres just don't seem to get the marks and damage that these tyres did. These tyres grip a lot better off-road. These tyres grip a lot better on-road. These tyres use a lot more fuel than a standard Grand Trek. These only save a little bit of fuel compared to those. These use a lot more fuel than a standard Grand Trek. So if you want fuel economy, this is why it's worth hanging around. You know, some people say get to the point. It's all relevant information. If you want fuel economy, Dunlop, Grand Trek, the standard tyres are your tyres. They work great on road. They get great economy. I've used them quite a bit off-road as well, and I know other people that have, other customers, clients through the workshop that have taken the standard Dunlop Grand Treks a lot of places that I wouldn't. And that's why I thought, well, upgrading to something like this is a lot better, and it is. We haven't had any damage in the treads, so that's good. I just think they need probably a little bit more protection out here, maybe, to protect these sorts of things along that edge there, where, you know, the BFGs, they're not really giving you much there either. This has got those lines there, but I can tell you by feeling in there, I can't do it with two hands at the moment, but normally put one hand in and out and you can feel there's a fair bit of thickness kind of there as well. But they do bag out a lot. The other thing I've noticed on the 120 that these came off since the new KO2s are on, I've noticed that it's a softer ride. So I thought these were a softer ride when they went on. But now that I'm taking these off, I thought these had a softer sidewall, so they would have, you know, absorbed it a bit more. And I was expecting a harder ride from the KO2s, but I'm actually got a softer ride. It's awesome. Anyway, guys, just wanted to remind you the next day, Monday the 22nd of March, is the next day to hit me for parts. Early as possible in the morning from 8 AM with your text message with your name, vehicle details and what you need. We are taking April off for annual leave, making up, that's last year, that's COVID, that's part of our last year's holidays, right? Now I'm going to be in and out a little bit, got a couple little trips and whatever, just because I'm taking the month off-ish. Doesn't mean that I'm not here and not doing anything, but we are fully booked for what we are doing. So don't try and get any parts off me, except for that one day that I mentioned in another video. There might be one day in April. I'll let you know in another video. So now's the time to subscribe, turn the bell on, and the next video will come through. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more with those front hub bearings, doesn't matter what make or model it is, and a little bit more information about the tyres and our experiences. They are like belly buttons. Now it depends, if someone doesn't go off-road as much, they're going to want a grippy tyre on-road, and this will do for their off-road. But if you're going off-road every weekend, every other weekend, lots of outback trips where you need the reliability, I'm not taking these tyres on rough tracks in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? I need the BFGs. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Please give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. And that's a bada bing, bada boom. See ya.